Hi everyone. Welcome to Marianne's Mystic Mentions with me, Marianne. Welcome to your July readings. For those that are new, especially welcome, and well, I can't say especially because I love the viewers that have been coming back and following me and been part of my tribe for some time now. It feels wonderful to be here with you. It has been a very filled day with extracurricular curricular activities that I've had to do, and it's my day off work from my other job as a massage therapist. So it was kind of cool. I started very early, and boy, I've accomplished a lot, but I definitely needed to get in and do these readings. I took a couple days. Just so you know that if you are new, I have a format, and generally I read for every single sign in the zodiac, and it takes me anywhere from a half to 3/4 of the month to complete them. And that's just what I've done for a while. It's usually 30 to 40 minutes. Sometimes you want to fast forward when I explain what the protocol is. And what that is I will pick the featured sign and we go around our zodiac wheel. And today's beautiful featured sign is the air sign of Gemini, the mutable air sign of Gemini, ruled by Mercury. So right off the bat, that lets you know that you are dealing with a person who is very much about the mind and the thoughts and expression and learning and educating and expanding their mind. Their life is led through their thoughts and their mind, known as a masculine duality, okay? And I've known a lot of teachers that excel extremely well that have been Gemini. I worked in the school district with special needs for many years. I would say a large percentage were Gemini, and then they're also just interested in pretty much everything. The mutable aspect, they're open to ideas, they're open to new and changeable. They're very changeable. They are the duality of the twins. That's the glyph you see that that usually represents the sign of Gemini. So yeah, I've known very outgoing, sociable, every party, every socialite, connecting, networking type of personality, to the other aspect, on the complete other side of the spectrum of being very introverted, very studious, homebody, just study bookworm and wealth of knowledge. You ask them anything, and usually extremely witty and quick to, repartees. Got to keep up with them, boy. Sometimes their pace is quite quick. So, just make sure that you are right there with that. I tend to get that way when I'm around Geminis, and I find it fun. I enjoy them a lot. And they have a huge heart, and they are, sometimes fickle. It's like, oh yeah, let's do that. And they don't necessarily end up doing it, not because they want to be mean or any kind of malice whatsoever. They're just really busy and involved, and they forget they've got so much going on. So hold them to it is all I'm going to say about that. And everything's hunky-dory. But yeah, so I'm reading for the featured sign of Gemini. And then what I do is I pick the love connection, because I too am an air sign. I am an air sign, Libra. And I have been reading tarot and oracle messages for quite some time now, 3 decades. But my initial full, incredible, inspired interest has been about the compatibility between all the different signs. I find it fascinating, and it makes so much sense when you delve into it and really read upon it, because there's so much to learn, okay? So that's something I've carried with me since I was 12 years old, and I hope you appreciate the little, small section that I do attributing to the characteristic of each sign and the reasons I think they're good for each other and maybe more challenging and so forth. And then I do read 4 cards that represent each week of the month. Now, as I said, I'm with June, it's actually 11th, July 11th. And I tend to, my desire, of course, is to read at least 1 a day. Sometimes I don't, but here's the thing. Every month, every day, we have different energies from the planets. It's just a fact. Sometimes you feel them very strongly on a collective basis. Sometimes there are activities happening in the sky that will affect a certain element, and the element being the air, water, earth, or fire. And as I mentioned, Gemini is an air element, and there's far more air element energies that will be continuing to touch us in the years ahead, which had changed from the majority of energies and very powerful connections and aspects that were in Capricorn and Earth signs. So things are changing that way. It's more of a mind time. It's more of a independent kind of let's figure this out. Let's work as a group or by ourselves. And not necessarily stick to the status quo, which is an earthly kind of an energy. Nothing wrong with it, but something that I think is definitely notably changing for all of us. Forgive me for clearing my throat. I don't think I have allergies, and yet perhaps I do. So, back to the program. I pick a love connection, and this could be, as a Libra myself, air sign, I'm fascinated, as I said, and love, it's such important and potent emotion that we can do phenomenal things with, and especially with that kind of mindset. And so I always like to have Spirit pick right in front of you that particular connection that will be important for you, Gemini, during the month of July, and perhaps longer. So I started to say that, and I digress a lot, but whenever you watch this reading is perfectly okay. I know a lot of readers that I admire and I watch, and they will literally read an entire month ahead of time. The point is that the energies and the planetary aspects are known ahead of time. We can see it, and that's the thing about astrology, is its cycles and seasons and patterns that we follow that are pretty darn accurate and very helpful in many, many ways. So whenever you watch is fine. I do like to bring up the most important aspects of what's happening for the month of July. And then I do, like I said, read the 4 major week cards that will give you ideas about perhaps what may be transpiring for you, Gemini. Although general, I do also then finish with an oracle, which is the rune, which I love, and I find it to be very, very powerful and a great source of guidance and inspiration in a lot of ways. So, and one last card, which would be the Mastery of Love. I mean, you can't go wrong with that, right? We all could use a little tip on that, I think. So we're going to keep it moving. I'm going to pick this card right off the bat, like I said, and the sign, I should say, the love connection, don't feel like you have to be in a relationship or it's the committed marriage kind of love connection. Absolutely not. It's all forms, all inclusive, self-love, love of an idea, a project, just inspiration, waking up, and all the variables, animals, for heaven's sakes, yes, included. So let's see what we have, Gemini. We have Aquarius, and this is beautiful because Aquarius is the third of the triad of the air signs. There's Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And yeah, last year we actually had, for a good portion of the year, we had Jupiter, the benevolent planet that visits our sign every 12 years in the sign of Aquarius. And this was probably extremely good for you, Gemini, and then also for Libra. Now, all having the same element just makes things more harmonious between you. It's an easier time in relating in general. And so that's really pretty cool. I like seeing this for you. Have I seen relationships of all forms with Gemini and Aquarius? Too many to count. It just works. Sometimes people want, though different, but the same element, very different in their own right. Example, Aquarius is a fixed sign. Aquarius is absolutely about fairness and justice, and they too are social, and they do love, these ideas of just grandiose, let's help the world. Let's be the people that pass on the information that's necessary to inspire and help other people is really their motto, I think. And just intelligent as well, very creative. So there's a very nice harmonious energy right off the bat. I'm happy to see this. We have had Saturn in the sign of Aquarius from last year and through next year, I believe in March. And so Saturn is the taskmaster. Saturn is the one that keeps us in line and, shaped up and not going too much to the extreme in any area of our life for the betterment, like if we're taking a course. and we're wanting to learn, which would make sense for air signs. This is something they like to keep up on the latest, technology, especially with Aquarius. Their ruler being Uranus, very much about that. But just new ideas, inventive ideas, okay? So that's powerful. So that might be somebody you're very aware of right now, but it could be somebody coming in, somebody you work with, you're very much aware of. I work with an Aquarius, well, not with her, but her office is next to mine. And I did in the last office. It's interesting. It's following me as well. But, they have great information. You just want to make sure the communication is working in this particular week, especially, which I'll talk about. But throughout July, because it has incredibly beautiful, powerful, positive influences for all of us that we can utilize. And yet it also has the ones that are very emotional, very strong, and almost combative, if you will, because we've had a lot of Pluto, which is, the ruler of Capricorn. Well, it's in the sign of Capricorn. It's not the ruler, I apologize. Saturn is also the ruler of Capricorn. And interestingly enough, Capricorn is right next to Aquarius on the, the astrology wheel. So they have similarities, but quite different as well. They are what I call the oppositional relationships that work really well because they feed each other with the things that they're missing or don't have, if that makes sense. A lot of times opposites do attract. I know you must know that. At some point in your life, that's probably happened to you. Whether you preferred that, I can't say. I would love it if you're watching for your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, because all of those are going to give you even more information about yourself. But if nothing else, you may just be feeling the energy if you don't know somebody in the sign of Aquarius, which, by the way, is starting in January 20th through February 21st. The energies will be similar to yours, Gemini. It's not going to be that much different. There'll be great opportunity for progression and conversation, especially because outside planetary involvement retrograde-wise is definitely happening. It happens every year right now. We have Pluto that's turned retrograde last month. I'm not going to go out with the dates right now. We definitely have Saturn that's been there. We have Neptune that also stationed retrograde earlier, I believe, in the last, could have been last month too, I'm forgetting right now. But then also we have Jupiter going retrograde till, I believe, October 28th at the end of this month on the 28th, okay? But before that, Gemini, we have, we're in the season of Cancer, and we are until the 22nd, which is like 2 weeks from now? No, it's next week. It's a week from this Friday. And, it's very heart-centered. It's very emotional. I found myself quite emotional. The full moon is happening in 2 days in the sign of Capricorn. There's the earth energy again. Now, earth elements and water actually are very harmonious. So this could be extremely good for working through, I want to say anything, on the ground level, because that's what Capricorns are. They're an earth sign, but this is a super full moon, so it's going to be extremely close. I'm told the closest super moon so far, because we've had about 3 super moons in a row, at least full moons, and so you're going to see it. I'm already seeing it. I certainly start feeling it sometimes 3 days before and after, and then the effect can last definitely 2 weeks and onwards. So whenever you watch, like I said, this video, it's going to be still affecting you. I'm still affected by the new moon in Cancer that happened on the 28th of June. That can happen for months as well until the full moon. I believe it's in January again, or, 6 months from when the new moon was. So new ideas, new beginnings, the cardinal aspect of Cancer, as well as Capricorn, and Aries, as well as Libra, they're all going to be probably noticing and feeling it more or the most. And cardinal means, doers and making things happen and keeping it moving. So while we have this opening of the personal planets still stationed direct and not retrograding until the shadowy periods, and then even the sensations and the recognitions of the next eclipse season, we'll get way more into that. But It's not going to happen until like August, the latter part of August, August 21st. So I am excited for you, and for you recognizing that this full moon could have very, very positive, successful kind of, you know, just self-motivating, very resourceful, very, I want to say just really positive, powerful movement forward in ideas and structures and the way that you want to do things, and not holding back and releasing things that aren't happening properly for you. Today was like that. I completed some things that I've had to do for about 5+ weeks. It wasn't that I was being procrastinating. Well, I guess in some ways, I just needed to allow the time, because when you get on a phone call, you never know. And I just had to make the right day for it, and it happened. And that's from the full moon that I'm feeling. And besides, I lost sleep, which I usually do for full moons and new moons. Last Saturday, I had insomnia, and I'm like, oh yeah, there we go. So it's a powerful one. But I want to say it's actually really, really beautiful for you, Gemini, and for everybody. And if you believe it can be helpful, that's a big part of why things work in our favor. So keep that in mind. Then as I shuffle these to get on with your reading, I will mention the other two very important things. We're going into Leo season on the 22nd, and that's going to be a very large change energetically, because it goes from water, which is heart and emotion and, you know, sensitivity, and, you know, a lot of family oriented kind of home body kind of things, and redoing your home and redecorating, and just kind of wanting to hang out with your family. I mean, we have holidays for that. It's summertime. You know, we had the 4th of July weekend, and it's usually with barbecues and people and friends and family, and so it's very conducive for this time. But then Leo's that and then some, because Leo's fire, and it's passion, and it's heart-centered, and it's spirit, and it's strength and courage and fun. I mean, they are all about fun, and they're about being seen and heard, and they are ruled by the sun. Cancer is ruled by the moon, so you've got the biggest, powerful, you know, planets just working in harmony, you know, in synergy, if you will. So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting and fun. And if you've been like gung-ho about your work, as I mentioned with this Capricorn, keep at it, but just know, you know, by month's end, you're probably going to want to do some traveling if you haven't planned it and you haven't gone yet, and just going to parties and really taking time for yourself, having that balance there, okay? And then we also have the new moon happening on the 28th, which will be in Leo. So once again, in intentions, writing down what you're feeling and thinking and wanting really, really strongly. And you know, when it comes to Leo, they don't hold back, and they're very generous and very extravagant and very passionate. So believe in yourself, and others do as well, right? When you do, anyone will. So let's pick the 4-week cards first and foremost. And whoops, these kind of wanted to come out. I'm using the beautiful Gilded Tarot deck by Sarah Machetti. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous illustrations, but it also feels really good. I always say that. There's something about the weight of it or something, and I've literally just folded and bent this. I'd never have done that. Fascinating. Not knowing my my own strength, right? First week coming in. Absolutely beautiful. The 9 of Pentacles. Let me get on my glasses, my special little cheater glasses that I got in lavender. 9 of Pentacles. Can I just say that this is not something this has come up quite a bit. And it's that cardinal, it's the cardinal earth, bountiful, you know, successful energy that Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus even have. But because it's the Capricorn full moon, it's really been prominent. It's showing us how we have the strength, how we have the ability to really put our mind to things and make them happen, as long as we allow the time and we do involve the patience that's necessary. Trust me, I think I'm way more patient than I used to be, but today on the phone a couple times, it was a little touch and go there, and I thought, okay, well, first of all, I never blame the person I'm talking to. This was I'll just be real quick about it. This was a situation where I was talking, I waited 40 minutes and I just had it on, you know, what is it when you just, you're not sitting there, you're just waiting and it lets you know when they come on. So I can't think of the term, but once we started talking, the person was super nice. And then within 30 seconds, it was like she was underwater. I couldn't understand anything being said. And this is a very important call. It has to do with Medicare. And, you know, those things you can't put off too long. And I don't know, it was just, she was being, I could hear somebody talking to her and training her the entire time. And I just said, you know what? Not your fault, but this isn't going to work. It's not. I had already tried to do it online as well. That wasn't happening. So I just said, you know what I need is for you to please help me set up an in-person appointment. And we did, and it worked out. But it was kind of interesting, and I do attribute it to the full moon, because that's when things are a little bit funky too, and you're a little more sensitive, and technology seems to be affected, I think, a lot of times, but I also feel like there are times when it's really, when it has to do with, yeah, Saturn, you know, and Uranus, I mean, in Aquarius, which is what's going on. So I'm kind of talking out loud. I apologize. I love this for you. This is fantastic coming in. You know your ingenuity. You know you are capable of pretty much anything, Gemini, and you will do what you need to do to complete the task. You know, it may take longer, maybe, you know, in different forms and ways, but you're up for the challenge. And this creates great comforts and financial stability, and, you know, just the feeling of like, I did that, you know, and that always feels great. It's a self-made kind of beautiful feeling for yourself. So fantastic. I love it. So we've got the 9, and by the way, the 10 is the highest. So you're right. I mean, it's right there next to it. So something really beautiful and powerful financially has been transpiring in a lot of Gemini's lives, for sure. So second week is now. It's the, you know, it's the full moon coming up, and what that can mean for you in wonderful ways. Because I always lean towards the positive, always. If there's something that's concerning, and I certainly will share that with you, it doesn't mean it will necessarily happen. Nothing will necessarily happen. That's really, you have a lot to do with how you receive things, but I'll be a son of a gun. So there's really some good financial changes, maybe a raise or a promotion, or you've gone and you played the lottery. I don't know. I'm not inspiring. I'm not asking you to do that. I never do that. But you have the 10 of Pentacles. And may I just say, I'm being honest about this. I watch other readers. I have for, you know, years and years. And I don't remember which one it was, but they specifically said, with this full moon, the 2 signs that would be benefiting financially, specifically in ways like, you know, just inheritance, windfalls, unexpected, you know, transpiring of job changes or promotions, as I said, are going to be Gemini and Sagittarius, your polar opposite, okay? So it's pretty clear that something's right about that. So there's a consistency and a synchronicity to that. But yeah, you've gone from the 9 to the 10. The progression is pretty self-explanatory, and I'm happy for you. You know, it happens a lot to a couple of Geminis I know, but then they have times when it doesn't. I mean, it's just inevitable. It's just the cycles and the times and the seasons, as I said. So that's pretty amazing. Yes? You have this little squirrel too, and that's usually a sign of good luck. So something's working in your favor. And if I see the Wheel of Fortune, it's on, okay? Because the combination of this and that is pretty powerful. So the third week, my goodness, wow. The third week is, it's the starting of Leo, you know, Leo season. So what you have is the 7 of Pentacles. Now, it doesn't matter that it's gone from 9, 10 into 7, not at all. It's just all about your well-being, maybe your health. You're really thinking about things, and that's what you do. You know, Gemini, everything's about your thoughts and how you can, you know, make the right decisions and conclusions. And with Mercury straight ahead, which is your ruling planet, there's nothing stopping you. And things are really clicking, and conversations are being had with the right people at the right time and place. There's a lot of great insight and intuition happening for you. And that full moon is only emphasizing that much more. So that makes me happy. Not to mention the fiery season of Leo is extremely compatible with air. Fire and air elements are very, very good together. I see them as couplings and friends and so forth all the time. And perhaps that's what's happening for you as well. But I just love this. Now you're really giving it a lot of thought. This is the tree of knowledge. You're making sure that you're not overextending yourself when it comes to work and your body and, even your mind, for heaven's sakes, because when you're exhausted in your mind, your whole body's, I find, even more exhausted than physical exertion. But you follow me, I'm sure. You're just really contemplating it. You really are, because you think, okay, I've got this. Why would I want to overwork and do hard work and put in way too many hours that I don't really feel is benefiting me or really showing the importance and the value that I contribute? So that's part of the mix too. And that's always an important part, So there you go, three Pentacle cards. The fourth week is the new moon, boy, and I'm thinking this is, so far it's sounding like it's all systems go. And this has not been like my other readings, so, but it does have cups, and it does have the 3 of cups. And so quite frankly, I love this because this is absolutely showing the, yes, the mind, yes, the stability, the grounded energy, making the right investments, taking your time, talking to the right people, like I said, and really just feeling this incredible gratitude for everything. But the cups are about fun. They're about celebrations. They're about having great emotional times with friends and family, as I said, whether it be at home or taking a staycay or going far away or planning that vacation. It's fun times, okay? Utilizing this money. You can't take it with you, right? And that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like you're going to just have one of the best months of your life. And it doesn't get worse in August. I'll be honest with you. There are times in August with stress, of course. And then the latter part is when we start to feel, as I said, the Mercury retrograde shadows and things like that. But for now, I am super excited and everything is working out. It could be family, it could be friendships, as I said. Be careful to get your hydration is another form of information with this particular card. But it is really a beautiful, beautiful reading, Gemini. And that's why I love doing this, because it makes me happy and I want to make others feel as good as I feel in the way spirits help me. So I'm going to finish with your rune message, and that is going to be by picking this beautiful purple amethyst rune. And I don't have it all memorized, but it's coming along little by little. I've been kind of happy with a couple of things. It's about doing it over and over. And you have, this looks like the boomerang. I wish I could remember though. So this one I don't remember, but right off the bat, I kind of want to say A. I don't know why, I just said that. We'll look it up though, because I have my handy dandy rune flashcards. And so I simply find the picture of the alphabet on the front of this. And we go from there. Do I see a boomerang? I just call it a boomerang. It reminds me of that. Remember boomerangs? I grew up doing a lot of frisbee playing with my kids. Boomerangs are pretty exciting though. Maybe that's a connotation in itself, a boomerang. What you put out will come back. Something to keep in mind. I just got that from Spirit. So, it was the last one. Could be a V as well. Okay, so this is interesting, and now that I see it, I remember trying to use this as an association. So come on, brain, work together with me. It is the letter K, which obviously does not look like that, but if you were to put the stem, then that part is the part of the K, that's existing, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try to remember that for myself. And anything I can do will be helpful, because I want to know it just verbatim and be able to just speak it with eloquence and, and ease. And, things take time. But it is the letter K. The pronunciation is Knaz. It is the number 6 rune. And 6 represents the planet of Venus and equilibrium. Venus is the ruling planet of both Libra and Taurus. And there's influences of Taurus I didn't bring up either, but the Venus is the aspect of beauty and love and magic and beautification and, you know, romance and tenderness and sensuality. And all that seems to be like it could very much be part of the picture for you, especially with this coming up. It's just that extra information. Oh, and especially this, that's right. The theme is torch, fire of knowledge. And there's that Leo new moon and going into Leo season. Fire, baby. Canaz. The keywords are enlightenment and knowledge, something you're so incredibly good at. The knowledge of the world. Education, passion, sexuality, quotation marks, on fire. Need I say more? We did bring that up. And it is a part of the equation. So I say go for it. Allow that in. Magical working. Even with people you've been with, you know, long-term relationships. I remember it was just like sometimes it just something happens and sparks happen and you're like, oh my God, who'd have thunk, you know? Gain insight and knowledge, enhance learning. There you are, all over. Raise energy or passion. Lighting a beacon. And then the key phrase is knowledge, expertise, enlightenment, passionate interest, lust, desire, sexual urges, adult in nature. Okay. You know, you can fill in those gaps. That's all good. I'm just really happy for you. That's the cherry on the sundae of the reading, if you will. But I am going to finish with that one more card. That is the beautiful deck I've had for so many years. I pulled it out. I try to change up for each month's reading. This is the Mastery of Love. Let me just pick one out. I won't look. Whoops, I'll pick that up later. Whoops, there's actually one in here. And just read to you because this is kind of the theme, if you will, as well for the month for you. There's two. So I hope you've enjoyed the reading. I mean, it can be, if it hasn't already started, it's already, you know, the 11th. You may know exactly what I'm speaking of. But I appreciate you being here, and I do want to do a slight plug. Because I don't know exactly when I do the readings, it just depends on when I'm working as a massage therapist. I have all different times and schedules, but I do appreciate anyone who wants to subscribe, and it's free. And then also you can push the notification bell. It lets you know when I upload. And likes, thumbs up are incredibly welcome and appreciated. It is a very genuinely caring gesture on your part to do for me. And I really, truly appreciate it. So having said that, here is the last card of your reading. Respect each other's dream. Interesting. You know, when it comes to the water element and the Cancer season we're in, dreams are very prevalent. And, you know, Cancers are known for their intuition and their strong psychic abilities. They sense and feel things. They have those hunches. Perhaps you know what I'm speaking of. Perhaps you have Cancer in your sign or some water sign in your chart, I should say. So, yeah, dreams can be very revealing, but also just, like I said, respecting each other's dream, you know, the bird, the dove, the peace, the mutable aspect of you, allowing and compromising. In a relationship, there are two dreamers with two different dreams. You need to accept the differences that exist between two dreamers. You need to respect each other's dream. And I think you do. I really do. And I appreciate this. I think it's always nice to get that extra little, you know, guidance of love. So perhaps you understand that more than I do. But once again, have an amazing, continually amazing, beautiful, prosperous, abundant, and fun July. And come on back in August. I'll be here for you. Okay, until then, thank you. Bye for now.